Hello and welcome to the Fulhamish Quick Take after Grimsby 2, Manchester United 2. 12-11 to Grimsby on penalties. Dan, how are you feeling after that one?
It was great. It was my first trip to the Distillers pub in Hammersmith. Stood outside with, 50 other people who were at the game tonight, watching Grimsby win on penalties, peering through the windows. It felt like old school football. You know, when you see like kids like leveraging themselves over a fence just to see what's happening in the last minutes. Proper football.
Yeah, we are being a little bit facetious, of course, because we are really here to talk about Fulham 2, Bristol City 0, even if peering through the windows to watch Brian Mbeumo miss a penalty was potentially the most exciting thing that happened this evening. Fulham avoided a banana skin, I would say, in the Cup tonight. Nothing to write home about really from this game, this performance, but the most important thing, as we know from these kind of Carabao Cup ties in the recent past, is just not messing up, and Fulham did just that today. What did you make of our performance today?
Yeah, it was all right. All the cliches of like professional performance, do your job, on to the next round, get yourself in the hat, all of those things. That's what we did. And actually, I thought, do you know what? For the first 35, 40 minutes, I actually thought we were excellent. I thought we were really, really good. And I had a little moment when I was watching that game thinking, oh God, we've come so far as a club in the past 5 years. Because that was our full B team pretty much. And we were just so much better than a pretty decent championship side. And it just says a lot about how much we've improved and the journey we've come onto here. And there were some lovely performances in there, like Tom Kearney was just like exquisite. It was like silk watching him in the park tonight. It was beautiful. And then second half was what it was. It didn't happen, basically. Actually, probably Bristol City deserved some sort of goal in that second half. They pushed well, they improved, but we just did our job.
Yeah, I don't think us keeping a clean sheet was necessarily like the fairest result in the world, but equally I think we could have scored at least a couple more in that first half. So yeah, I think you make a really good point about our squad going into this game. A B team for sure of players, but a B team that I felt fully confident in. When the lineup came out, there was no weak link. Was there anything for you that excited you or worried you about that lineup when it dropped?
I really liked, and there was some uncertainty whether it was going to happen, but I really liked that it was Harry Wilson playing centrally and Smith Rowe playing on the left wing, and I thought that actually worked really nicely. Harry's great in there. He's just a lot more dynamic than Smith Rowe can be in terms of he likes getting on the ball a bit more, but also giving Emil that space out left. He looked a lot better to me tonight. I thought he looked like he's growing into this sort of a much more impactful season. I think every time he's played so far this season, I've looked and I've like, this guy's improving. So that was nice to see. As I said, I'm seeing Tom Kearney just walk around, and Harrison Reed. I was thinking of you during that second half, feeling like I think Elizabeth will be loving this Harrison Reed performance. Did you?
Yeah, I'm a big Harrison Reed fan. I think I'm kind of surprised he hasn't already left this summer in terms of his position in the squad the last couple of years, and I definitely wouldn't be surprised if he goes on deadline day, unfortunately. But he's been one of my favourite players for a long time, and I got him on the back of my shirt a couple of seasons ago. Like, he's definitely one of my favourites, and it was so good to see him put in such a good performance. There was a bit where he clutched his hammy towards the end, and I thought, oh God, has something bad happened? But yeah, I mean, I also agree with you about Emil Smith Rowe. I felt like he came into his own a bit tonight. Obviously, championship opposition, but I thought nonetheless a very impressive performance from him, and it was nice to see him on that left-hand position. We'll move on to the first goal. I was going to say pretty instant. It was like 7 minutes. What we thought was a Raul Jimenez goal, but turns out has been credited as an own goal. Just a really nice move. Anything you'd like to add?
It's one of those goals. I remember we scored a goal like that. A totally different goal, but similar in the style away at Wigan in the FA Cup last season, where you just never score goals like that in the Premier League. It's never that easy, and it was as simple as just like a couple of nice passes in the middle, drift one over the top out wide. Traore gets there, puts in a decent ball. Keeper should come for it. Defender should do better. Somehow it ends up in the back of the net. It was a nice move, and it was pretty symptomatic of how Fulham started that game. It was so easy.
The 25-26 season is shaping up to be a big one for Fulham, and one thing you need ahead of it is NordVPN, the fastest VPN on the planet that allows you to watch football matches from wherever you are in the world on either your phone, your tablet, or your laptop. For instance, you could use NordVPN to watch Premier League matches for a fraction of the price, including those 3 p.m. kickoffs that aren't available in this country. Or if you go on holiday this summer, you can use NordVPN to access your UK TV subscriptions. And right now, you can use NordVPN on up to 10 devices, which means you can share the amazing benefits that NordVPN has with your family or your friends. And you can get a great deal when you sign up to NordVPN at nordvpn.com/Fulhamish. Not only will you get a huge discount, but you'll also get 4 months extra as well. And it's entirely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So to get that special discount plus 4 free months, go to nordvpn.com/Fulhamish. That's nordvpn.com/Fulhamish.
Yeah, definitely. And then the second goal from a set piece. Nice to see us score from a set piece. I think we've spoken about it a lot in the opening couple of weekends of the season. Obviously, that Brighton goal came from a set piece. And Manchester United, I thought we looked really dangerous from set pieces, which we haven't last season especially. So it's nice to see, again, calibre of defending wasn't the most show-stopping thing in the world. It's what you'd expect from a championship team. And also, I can't pretend to know enough about Bristol City, but I'm sure they didn't put out their first teamers tonight, obviously. I wasn't recognising the star-studded names on the team sheet that I hear about when they play in the Championship. So, yeah, a nice goal, but nothing to write home about. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, we do have to preface it with that was a rotated City side. It's a terrible corner. Unless people who have seen it back and were watching it on telly see any different, there's no way that could have been the plan. Because to me, that looked like a scuffed corner that inexplicably leaves Raul with so much space. 10 yards out? He does well. It's a good touch, good finish, but it was a weirdly easy goal as well. And actually, probably Bristol City look at that and they're like, if they could have played a bit more sensibly and defended a bit better in the first 20 minutes, it might have been a bit more of a game. But from that point onwards, it was just such a cruise. That really killed it straight away. No, it was exactly what we needed. I said coming into today that I didn't want to see too much in the way of lots of young players coming into this side. I wanted it to be the core squad, at least starting, because your job is go out there, secure the game early, and then take it easy for the rest. And that's what we did. I think that's exactly what Marco wanted, although probably how we finished the game, I imagine he'd have been a little bit annoyed because he gets irritated when we're that sloppy. But
yeah, we were sloppy, but equally we were at that point 2 up, and there was never really a point where I felt like Bristol City were going to even pull one back. There were moments, obviously, I'm a football fan, I get nervous, where I was a bit imagine, but it wasn't ever going to happen, was it? Substitutes in the second half, it felt like we were honestly just trying to avoid injuries, keep those legs a bit fresher. Nothing particularly show-stopping. It was nice to see some of the first teamers come on, players like Muniz, and nice to be able to clap off some of the players that we don't see so often. But generally, I thought the substitutes were what we'd expect. And managed quite well by Marco.
Yeah, what we'd expect, although I didn't have it on my bingo card today that we'd finished the game with Adama Traore as our right wing back and Alex Iwobi as our left wing back. I've never seen that before. I hope I never see it again, I'll be honest. It didn't look good. But it did mean we got a moment where Calvin Bassey did the most fantastic overlap as Alex Iwobi was charging down the line. And I feel like that Nigerian link up on our left flank, if we can just curate that happening in every game, that would be ideal because it's just good vibes. And especially because they were attacking the corner where, I don't know why, but there was 15 12-year-olds holding up a Nigerian flag down by the corner flag all game. And that felt like it was for them. It felt like they were, because they were cheering the two of them on while they were warming up, and actually they were like, you know what, we're going to go onto the pitch and we're going to give them some love in return and witness this wonderful overlapping run.
Exactly. I think those 12-year-olds were also sat near us with the Nigerian flag in the first half, unless there were 2 sets of 12-year-olds with the Nigerian flag, in which case what an absolutely impressive thing for Fulham to be bringing, for sure. I mean, ultimately, a very successful, very game one, exactly how we wanted to win it. Some new players that I hadn't seen before. Thought backup goalkeeper didn't have much to do, but was it definitely a lot more solid than our backup goalkeeper of previous seasons? What did you think?
Yeah, he didn't have to make an actual save, one thing I enjoyed, apart from there was one moment in the second half, but everything got a bit sloppy. I thought his distribution was really good. He looked very comfortable with the ball at his feet. He picked out some simple 5-yard passes, but then there were a couple of moments where he spotted a little bit more of an adventurous break the press, get upfield, clipped balls into Harry Wilson in the middle of the park. And it was nice to see that, because it was just, he's an experienced keeper who just is very comfortable in what his role and his job is. And I feel like that's what you want from your backup keeper. You don't want someone who's a little bit on edge, a little bit nervous, doesn't want to make a mistake. Whereas Lecomte's done this for over a decade, right? Like this, it's easy for him, and so that was nice to see. It instilled a lot of confidence, even though he didn't have to make a save. I feel like I was not worried at any point about what he was doing.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. We go into the hat now for round 3. I believe we got some trusty colleagues behind the camera who will maybe tell us if the draw has happened yet. The trusty colleagues are looking. The draw has not happened. So
this is typical. I remember when we won on penalties at Goodison Park in the quarter-final 2 years ago, and it was ages until we got the draw. It just took. I don't know what they do. This quick take's going to be comically long if we're waiting for Carabao to get their act together.
Oh, we will not be waiting. So instead, we from the past, you guys know what the draw will be, but I'm going to tell you what I want. But I'll start with you, Dan. Who would you like in round 3?
We were discussing this, either a nice little home tie that we can, again, like today, roll up, turn the opposition over, head home, get into the 4th round. Or I think there's some nicely fun little dotted away games in and around London that are easy to get to, that I've not been to. Certain Cambridge as a potential option. I think Wickham would be fun as well. And then there are some further afield ones. I'll be honest, if we got Lincoln or Grimsby, I could be tempted.
I mean, you were the man who went to Preston last year, and look how that turned out. Yeah, I mean, my heart is quite set on Cambridge. Would really love to see it. But, I mean, you guys will know. Fingers crossed. I really just hope we haven't got someone really good.
It's just, anyone apart, other than a Premier League side or away in, Cardiff, because I'm just not going.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much, Dan, for joining me this evening.
Pleasure, as always.
Thank you so much to the Craft Beer Co for having us. And take care. See you soon. Come on, you wait.
You wait.